Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 38th favorite dad in the family community, Papa West, Jacob West, here for another exciting episode of TMG Takes the Field, the weekly show where we talk about sports, but mainly just football. News. College football, we'll talk about it for a little bit. We had the championship game on Monday, and oh, what a game it was. We had Indiana taking on Miami. One team, it's been, I don't know the last time they were in the college football championship game. Outside of last year, I don't know the last time they were relevant was. Versus a team who was great in the 90s and early 2000s, but really for the most part hasn't done anything in the last, 20, 25 years. So kind of like a little blast from the past. Obviously, Indiana taking on Miami, where what a game. 27-21, Indiana getting the win. Fernando Mendoza had a great run, kind of to seal the win for Indiana. Kurt Signetti, phenomenal job this year. 2 straight undefeated seasons. I think they either went undefeated last year up until the Big Ten championship or lost like right at the end of the season. I think it was they lost in the Big Ten championship. So great job, Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Hoosiers. Great job, Fernando Mendoza. And breaking news out of Indiana, I got a notification that made me do a double take. It said Mendoza's entering the transfer portal. Obviously, when you look at it, though, it is not Fernando Mendoza. It is his little brother. I cannot remember his first name at this moment, but he has signed with Georgia Tech, so he will now be a Yellow Jacket. But for Fernando, after 2 seasons at California, 1 season at Indiana, undefeated season, Heisman win, he is declaring for the NFL draft. A lot of people think he will go number 1 overall, especially after the Oregon quarterback, whose name I'm blanking on right now, after he said he's staying, Dante Moore, after he declared that he was staying. Fernando Mendoza should be the number 1 quarterback taken. Grant Nussmeier did not do that good this year. Cade Klubnik did not have a really good year this year. Carson Beck was decent. But really, there's only one choice for quarterback, especially for the early teams drafting. Unless somebody has a phenomenal combine, I see no way that Fernando Mendoza does not go number 1, which right now is to the Oakland Raiders. We'll see if there's some changes going on. But that is it for college. Now it's time to talk about the NFL. We did have divisional playoffs last week. 4 exciting games. On Saturday's game, we had the Broncos beating the Bills 33-30 in overtime. Very close game through and through. Ended up being a field goal at the last second to win that game. And then later on Saturday, we had the Seahawks 49ers. And everything that was exciting and close about the first game was the exact opposite of that second game. Seahawks win 41-6. They legitimately outscored the 49ers in the first 7 seconds of the game when Rashid Shaheed caught the opening kickoff and just ran it in for a touchdown. At that moment, the game was over. We did also have on Sunday the Patriots versus the Texans. After breaking news from the Broncos game, everyone wants to play the Broncos now. It seemed like both defenses were dying to play the Broncos, but both offenses were dying not to play the Broncos in the next game. So very, very interesting game. 8 in turnovers, I believe. CJ Stroud had like 4 interceptions. Couple fumbles on their end too. Drake made a couple bad interceptions also, but the Patriots did manage to get the win, 28-16. And then our final game, Rams Bears, another very close game, another overtime game. Rams winning it in overtime, 20-17. So our conference championship game, which we'll talk about here later on, we have the Patriots traveling to Denver to take on the Broncos, and then the Rams traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. So, without further ado, let's bring in everyone's favorite starch. Tato, how's it going?
Hey, doing good. I may have accidentally clicked a button. Who knows? It's okay.
Any thoughts you want to share from the previous week that was NFL football?
Yeah, hell of a bunch of good games. Obviously, the Bears gave it their all. Did not go the way I wanted it to, but was a fantastic game of football. Cannot say anything about the heart of that team, but the makeup of that team. It has got nowhere to go but up. So thumbs up there. And if you get I think I said a lot of times throughout the course of the season that the Rams are the best team in football. So I do like looking at it objectively. This NFC Championship game is as it should be, I think. I'm a little less informed on the AFC. I don't get to see as many of those games, so I can't rightly say if Broncos Patriots is correct, but it seems like it should be. I mean, it's the 1 and the 2, so what's to be said there? I think the season is ending up as it should. Good luck to Jared Stidham. Shout out that guy. But yeah, good football.
Yes. Right. So on paper, the AFC Championship should be the Broncos Patriots, but as Tato alluded to earlier, Bo Nix on the second to last play of the game, which I think the time frame is off. I think it's the third to last play of the game because the second to last was a kneel down, and regardless, Bo Nix broke his ankle, out for the last game, out for the season. There's one more game left. He is out for 2 games.
1, maybe 2.
Let's be honest, probably 1. So yeah, Bo Nix is out. All year I've been saying Bo Nix is trash. What I should have been saying is Bo Nix's ankle is trash. Correct statement there. Jared Stidham will be making the start for the Broncos this Sunday. Fun fact, former Patriot. Also fun fact, if any team struggles against backup quarterbacks in championship situations, it's the Patriots. But we'll talk about predictions here in a little bit. As far as the NFC Championship goes, week 14, week 15, this is essentially the 1-2 matchup. The Rams did have a little fall towards the end of the season to drop them down to the 5 seed, but definitely not having a chance to be the number 1 seed the last week, which they probably should have been. So yeah, on paper, week 14, this was looking like the best 4 teams in the playoffs, or to be in the playoffs. And so definitely a lot of people predicted that these would be the matchups. And I'm not going to say a boring matchup because they're all very exciting. I mean, one's a conference or one's a division rivalry, so that's always fun. And the other one are 2 really historical franchises. There was a brief 4-year period where they were the 2 biggest rivals in the AFC. But Tato, I took some time last week to talk about what I wanted to see what the Eagles do this offseason and what we needed to do to get back to Super Bowl contention. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes. What do you want to see the Bears do? And what is going to make them Super Bowl contenders?
Yep, so I've taken a little bit of a breather on the football. I am normally just not fully invested in football this late, both on the fantasy or on the regular season side of things. So I'm usually chilling, like a villain by, December, with not much left to do, not usually playing. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Defensive line needs to get fully retooled in the same way the offensive line did last year. I think Sweat's a good player. I think some of those guys are good situationally as well, but need an edge rusher. I would love to see a Max Crosby. That he's number one on my wish list as far as guys I think are possible to get. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I haven't fully looked at the whole contracts free agent situation yet. So just off the top of the dome, that's a guy I would love to see. And then, get another D tackle in there. I think without the injuries, I think the cornerbacking core is good. Like the second defensive secondary is solid. Maybe shore up safety a little bit. Depth linebackers, left tackle. But yeah, I like the coaching. I mean, try to keep as much of that going as possible. The main thing is that D line though, because I feel like the defensive line just gave quarterbacks way too much time to throw, which made the really good secondary, which was also torn up by injuries all season, make look worse than it actually is, with a competent offensive line pushing the pace, or defensive line, excuse me.
I mean, talk about your offensive line though. They were phenomenal this year, and definitely some very feasible movements too. One thing you're talking about injuries. Hopefully, you don't have that issue next year, because unless you're the 49ers, typically you don't deal with injuries multiple years in a row. Again, we do have some breaking news as far as head coachings go. We've talked about all the firings, but we did have one more happen this week. The Bills will be searching for a new head coach, as they did let go of Sean McDermott this season, which, Tato, you and I had a little argument. Last week you said if you make the playoffs, then you shouldn't get fired. As I was talking about maybe possibly changing some things with Sirianni. And I'm not going to lie, Tato, I 100% agree with this move. I think he should have been let go years ago. I think he has been there way too long. Because yes, they have been a very successful team. It's like once they get to the playoffs, they just stop. Or once they get to the second round of the playoffs, they just stop. And outside of that 1 year with the Patrick Mahomes touchdown drive in the last 13 seconds, they really haven't been close to making it to the divisional championship or the conference championship. And I've always just felt like the team has a great quarterback behind him, but that's it. You take away Josh Allen, and this is maybe a 2-3 win team. And there's just no chemistry around him. There's no weapons around him. And I realize that's not all on the coach to do, but at the same point, you have to build chemistry around everybody through coaching. You have to build an environment, and you have to have success with the tools you are given. So I've been calling this for a while. I feel it took too long. Tato, any thoughts on the firing?
Yeah, I'm definitely I am opposed to this one, and I do I lean back a touch. Like, maybe a playoff spot isn't necessarily a guarantee, and if you limp in at 8 and 9 and then get blown out, then that's different. But being an overtime kick away from the championship game and getting fired is pretty preposterous to me. And I think Buffalo should know better. Like, I don't blame Pittsburgh and Baltimore, because it's been 20 years it's been 15, 20 years in those places. Like, Buffalo has had nothing but dog water until Josh Allen shows up. And then they're going to be like, oh, making the playoffs isn't good enough after 5-6 years. All right, we'll see.
Yeah. definitely, it's going to be culture shock for some of the newer fans. But all the older fans are like, we're used to this. This happened a while ago. So kind of some changes that have happened this week, and we'll talk about some stuff we've talked about before because I don't remember everything we've talked about. Um, Eric Bieniemy is returning to Kansas City to be their offensive coordinator. Um, Tommy Reese, former offensive coordinator of the Browns, is coming to Atlanta. So he's rejoining somebody that we'll talk about here in just a second. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Vikings, is staying put. Did sign a contract extension, so he is not going anywhere. I do think that's it as far as offensive coordinators go. Definitely a lot of rumors as far as head coaching interviews, stuff like that. But we don't talk about speculation. False, we do all the time. We just bring the exact news. But we have had some NFL coaching hirings. Obviously, there was speculation last week about John Harbaugh. That contract is official. He is now the head coach of the New York Giants. Kevin Stefanski did get hired on as the Atlanta Falcons head coach, so he is rejoining his offense coordinator there. Jeff Hafley, former defensive
I believe he took the Miami job. I don't know if we lost me or if we lost Papa. Anyway, football is good. Better check YouTube to see if I'm just sitting here staring at myself like an idiot. Yes, it appears we did lose Papa. I'll give him some time here. Patriots, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks. Those are football teams. They're playing football games on Sunday. One of them's going to be at 2 p.m. One of them's going to be at 5:30. It'll be a delight. Hi, I'm having a good time. Not. Alrighty, and we have Papa back.
Hey, sorry about that.
I covered all of the coaching, everything's.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Internet just dropped on me, so that's fun. That whole we have TV, Xbox router all kind of connected to the same area. Kayla was in the middle of gaming, and then the TV just went out. So I'm trying to read off the list, and I come back to this screen, and everything's black. I'm like, that's fun. So Tato, thank you for reading off all the coaching information that has changed. Anything surprise you over the weekend? I had one big surprise personally, but were you surprised of any of the coaching news?
Yeah, the Baltimore one kind of was a surprise to me. But I mean, going defense, I guess it's very much in that team's like genetic code, much like the Bears, obviously, just defensive football team through and through. So we will see how that one shakes out. But I did, upon hearing the news, I asked one of my Ravens buddies, what the fuck is a Jesse Minter?
Defensive coordinator of the Chargers, I believe.
Yep.
So
that's what that was. But I mean, like that doesn't. I mean, it's just that was a name I had not heard in the
Yeah,
carousel at
like
all. So.
no news of him interviewing anywhere at all. And just boom, he's hired. Um, all those surge protectors are out. Oh, fun. Yeah, for me, the biggest news personally on my end that I was surprised about was Robert Saleh to the Titans. My personal thought was the Titans were going to go for somebody offensive minded, somebody who has worked with young quarterbacks already. And so I was very surprised to see his name pop up because nowhere did I think Robert Saleh being a head coach of a young quarterback and a team that has really struggled offensively. So that was kind of a big surprise for me personally. But obviously, there are still some major openings. The Bills, we just talked about their head coach hiring, or which is really kind of paused a lot of the head coaching stuff. Like I was not expecting Mike McDaniel for that to go official, for him to go to the Chargers, especially because right after it was rumored, um, boom, that job opened up. So, and then also with Harbaugh, there was that small thought of, well, maybe he'll try to get Buffalo instead. Um, so a lot of interesting things that are going to happen here in the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, and obviously, it's like the night before the Super Bowl, we'll start hearing, especially those two teams, kind of their coaches and coordinators, seeing if they're staying or seeing if they're going somewhere else. So, Tato, without further ado, I feel like now is a good time that we get those predictions out of the way. So first off, we have got to pull up FanDuel because ESPN doesn't show spreads anymore. But FanDuel takes forever to load.
I can take that if you like.
I will let you.
Alrighty. The Patriots and the Broncos are the first game of the Sunday. The Patriots favored by 4.5 points, according to FanDuel.
I just got it up. Also, fun fact: the over/under is 42.5. So they're not expecting a lot of a good amount of scoring. I feel 21 points by each team isn't great. So I will go ahead and go first on this one. Like we have alluded to earlier, Jarrett Stidham is making his first start all year, playing his first snap all year. This is the first time we're having a quarterback in a championship playoff game without taking a snap anytime during the regular season. But like we said before, the Patriots are a team that struggles whenever they play a backup quarterback, and there's no tape on them. And we have some history of a backup quarterback leading his team not only making it to the Super Bowl, but winning the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. And one thing that really helped with that is they had a great defense and they had pretty good offensive weapons too. And the Broncos have that. But the Patriots have been playing very well. And while I want to ride this train, I do think the defense of the Patriots is better this year than it was against Nick Foles. And while it's going to be a defensive struggle, probably a very low-scoring game, I think it's going to be very similar to the Patriots-Chargers game that happened earlier, where very low-scoring, but the Patriots just make a couple plays to get good scores where the Broncos can't. And that defense is great. But that's a bad quarterback, Jarrett Stidham. Tato, who do you have?
I got the Patriots winning here. I'll be rooting for the fucking underdog tail always. I love Rocky. You can't not. So good luck there. But I underestimated the Patriots defense last week for sure. I don't think CJ Stroud is that bad, even though he definitely did not have a good game. Anyone will be able to say that. But yeah, I think the Patriots D did a lot of that, much less than Stroud just like absolutely having a like Stroud being Max Brosmer. I don't think that's what happened.
He struggled this year, though. But anyways, next game we have the Rams traveling to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. This one is a 3-time rematch. Both teams won at home. The last game in Seattle, great game, overtime thriller. This is a 2.5-point favorite for the Seahawks. Tato, I'll have you go first after we say good morning to Abdullah, all the way from Kuwait.
It's a far-reaching program we got.
Yeah,
I will take the Seattle Seahawks. I'll be politically correct. I'm making an appearance on Brandon's channel. I might need to peel it back. Fuck. Anyway,
that last.
I'm trying. It's slow grass, slow. I honestly, this is, unstoppable force, immovable object. It is the number one offense versus the number one defense. Statistically, according to like the regular season, I believe. And I do think the Seahawks, I think the 12th man just gets in a little bit. Stafford was shaken up enough in Chicago that I think that it'll finally fully come to a head. He got beat up enough by the Bears.
I get that. And I want to echo it, but I can't. One thing holds true with the AFC game. These are both two very young teams, very new teams who have not been here before. With the NFC, that's not the case. One team is young and has not been here before, and one team was just in the Super Bowl not that long ago. And that team has the oldest quarterback playing right now, still. Has a coach who has been, if he makes it to the Super Bowl, this will be his third Super Bowl. So I do want to say experience matters. And not only that, the Rams have been running hot this year, all because they were visited by one of those magician psychic people. I can't think of the guy's name, but the clips are going off the rails right now. When he predicted that the Rams would beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl by a score of like 24-14, I think is what he called it. And while it'd be crazy if that's the matchup, I do think he called one team correct, and that's the Rams. Devontae Adams had the score written on his hand during last week's game. I think they are fighting, and I think they've been the better team all year, except for the last 3-4 weeks of the season. I have the Rams pulling out the win and going to the Super Bowl. So with that, throw it in the comments. Who's your survivor pick? Who's your Super Bowl matchup going to be? Is it going to be what Tato said? The Patriots and Seahawks is going to be what I said. The Rams and Patriots, or is it going to be something completely different, which would be Broncos? Throw it in the comments. I want to see y'all's predictions. But stay safe out there. It's really cold in the U.S. right now. Make smart choices, or don't, because I really don't care. Not your dad. but I could be your papa. Bye.